And good afternoon, everyone. How's it going? I'm Steve Leahy. This is Thursday Live. We're going to get sort of right into it. I have a little bit of show and tell, not too much. Today we're finishing up that landscape from Monday. So if you were here on Facebook on Monday, I started it and then realized that it was going to take a little bit longer. This painting's probably going to take total about 6 to 8 hours. So we worked for about 2 hours on Facebook, and then I did the Open Studio video, which I posted. That was another, I think, a little bit over an hour. And I held up there because I figured we'd finish it here today. So that's what we got. So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening, as CC from Westchester County says. All right, here we go. I have a little bit of show and tell, and then we'll get right into it. So let's do that. Let me switch to this one. So hope you guys are all having a great week. Make sure everything's rocking. Yeah, what I think I'll do is, why don't we just start painting? Enzo, what's up, buddy? Simon, what's going on? Simon, thank you again for the. Simon runs the Airbrush TV Guide on Facebook. If you're not a member of that, join that, because it gives you all the times of all the feeds. And for some reason, I was totally drawing a blank with Kelly's feed. Kelly Aubert, and I forgot what time he started. So it was great. I was able to go to the guide and figure out, what days he was on and times, and it worked out really good. So thanks again for that, Simon. That's awesome. All right, turn that down. There we go. Chris, what's up, buddy? There we go. Let me show you the quick show and tell for you. So one of the commissions I just finished up, and I posted this on one of the, I think, the stories for YouTube. And this is how this guy came out. It's a lot of fun. It's 5x7, which is great. And I like doing these because you get someone's vehicle, and it means a lot to them. And this is actually going to be a gift for that person who owns the truck. So that was really great. I'll give you a close up over here. There we go. So that is how that came out. And it's nice. It's obviously a black truck, which works out great for black and white. So that all happened really, really the way it should have. So again, that's on ampersand board too. So it's all satin finished up. This one I'm going to frame for the person who's getting this one. So sometimes I frame them, sometimes they just want them. So works out pretty well. Thanks, Simon. Awesome. All right. So well, actually, we'll just get right into it. So this is where I'm at. This is exactly where I'm at the end of the video. This is my UK feed. So you guys are off of work now, or just getting off of work. So it's only afternoon here. It's 1 o'clock, but I am cheering with you guys because it has been that kind of week. So this is Southern Tier's Juice Jolt, which is a great juicy IPA. And that's what I figured. So the juice in it actually offsets the fact that I'm day drinking on a Thursday. So there we go. So if you're cheering with me, then great. Dan, what's up? Thank you, Dan. All right. That's it for show and tell. Good. Is that it for show and tell? Yes, that is it for show and tell. I have 2 3/4 of the 543s done for this week. So we're going to play a game today. And if you would like to play along, that would be amazing. I'm going to grab this with my little tweezers here, and I'm going to show you one of the cutouts real quick. So this is one of the cutouts from one of the current 543s. So as you could probably guess, it is a car. So we're going to play a game today. If you can tell me the make, model, and year of this car, I will give you a 543. I will ship one to you. So you guys can throw your guesses in the comments. This is a live thing because I don't want to have to keep going back and checking the comments. So if you can guess what car this came off of, and I know I'm not giving you much, the only hint I will give you is that I have painted this car before. Again, that's a sucky hint because I've done a lot of cars. So there you go. Do you need to get closer on that, or do you get enough of it? I will also tell you that this is the front wheel. Not that that makes a difference, but I will try to keep an eye on the comments, and hopefully we'll get. And I will let you know if you win. So So good guess, Enzo, but that is not it. All right. Let's jump to this. So yeah, here we go. So we'll do this, and I even have the palette cam ready to go. I moved the big camera, so you guys will be a little bit off to the side, but now you'll get less of, you know, my head in the way, which will be nice. I like that. And we have palette cam too. So we got everything going on. All right. So what I need to do from here, I wish I did this tree first, because this tree, the color in this, I thought it was going to be too weak, but it is actually perfect, just the way it is. And this tree is too dark. So I'm going to mess with the glow on this a little bit, and we're going to drop all the next layer of leaves in, which are all the leaves in here, and do the leaves on the ground. And the goal is to finish this today. That would be wonderful. This painting is also available. It's on the site right now. And if you want a crazy good deal on that, that's what's going on. Franz, what's up? Chris, that's an excellent guess. That is not it. Franz, also an excellent guess. That is not it. Simon, that's a great guess, and that is not it. Enzo, you are not correct. I feel so bad because it's an aftermarket wheel. So I mean, I don't think it's a Krager. It might be a Krager. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's definitely an aftermarket wheel. It's not the wheel that came on it. And yeah, it makes it tough. But it's $100 on the line. So if you guess just randomly, or if you can figure it out from that, and I will show it again. I'll grab my little, I should just leave it on this thing so I can just grab it and it doesn't fall. So that is the cutout. So if you can guess what year, make, and model that car or this wheel is from, this is going to be a 543. So I will actually not tell you what it is unless someone wins. And then you can come back Monday and actually find out what it is. So I'll keep showing it in case you need a refresher on that. All right. 65 Ford Mustang is also a good guess, but that is not it either. You guys are awesome. All right, let's get to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resolve this tree right now. I'm going to put the glow in right now, because the other leaves are going to kind of be on top of the glow. So it'll work out really good that I kind of get this done. And what I got to do is I got to kind of make this area of this tree look just like this. So we're going to, the blue shifter is going to be a big problem here, because I'm going to use white to get this done. So I'm going to use a real orangey white to kind of get the glow that's going on here. And to show you what we're shooting for is that right there. Get it? So the glow is going to be on this tree too, but when I get the correct stuff on this. Tim, excellent feed last night for All That I Saw, that your underground Persephone is coming out great. I love that blurry, out of focus background thing. All right, so I was just using this brush. It's got white in it, a little bit of white left. I'm going to use that because it's easier than trying to clean it out and mix it up again. Yeah, of course, Tim. Yeah, it's really, really coming out great. All right, so a little bit of white, and I'm going to throw in some red oxide in this, and we're going to start with that and see what it does. So if you're having a difficult time finding and matching colors, go back and watch Tim's feed from last night if you missed it. Tim uses a program called Krita, and I was under the impression that he just used it as reference, but he was using it to home in on colors yesterday, which I thought was brilliant. So you can select an area of your reference photo, and it'll pull up very much like Photoshop, but in a neat way, because it shows you the way the color is broken down. And it was really kind of a cool thing, and I'd never seen him do that before, but it was a really neat way. If you're having trouble, like, you know, what is that color and where do I start? It was really neat. So go watch Tim. I mean, not right now because he's here. 70 Chevelle is not it. 64 Impala is not it. I'll give you, all right, so you're in the right ballpark. You're in the right, like, couple decades. I'll just say couple decades because I don't want to make it too easy. All right. So there is my orange. This is going to be too orange, but I think this is going to be okay. So it looks too dark, right? But when I go and actually spray this on here, it's almost going to feel like white when I start to do this, see? And what that is the white is really reacting with that warm, that burnt umber tree right there. And it's shifting to that blue color, even with all that orange in it. So it's okay because we're gonna adjust all that. But first we gotta kind of get the glow on this tree and knock down this dark color. I can adjust it after, that's not a problem. But I first gotta get the value of this up higher, a lot more like this. I can use this over here a little bit too, on this tree. And even there on the orange, it shifts to blue, which is something we deal with a lot with the airbrush. It's Eleanor. No, it's not Eleanor, but good. That's a good guess also. I have done Eleanor before, so that is also right in line with the hints that were given. Yeah, we have a good week for suggestions as we usually do. There were a bunch of really, really great suggestions. So so it's pretty easy to pick. It's pretty easy to pick the 5. And I think I mentioned it before. The way I usually do that is I get a spreadsheet from my lovely assistant Lachlan. And what I do is all your names are in the first column and then the suggestions are in the other columns. And what I do is I block off the names so I can't see who suggested, and I just go through and pick them that way. So that's why sometimes you get a week where 2 people or one person will get 2 suggestions or something like that, because I go by the suggestions, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, I feel good about that. I feel good about that glow right there. Now, if I build this up enough, I don't know if you can tell because I don't have a whole ton of it on here yet, but as I build this up, that blue shift will start to disappear just because of the volume of red oxide in here, the amount of orange in it. And again, the way that works is the orange is opposite the blue on the color wheel, and that's actually canceling it out. So as this begins to reach closer to opacity, then it starts to shift that blue away just naturally. So you're making the blue shift working for you one of the most difficult things. Thanks, Tim. 67 Malibu SS. That is an absolutely beautiful car. My daughter would love that. She wants a Chevelle or a Malibu in that range, but no, that's not it. A 28 Prius. Chris, you win. That's exactly what it is. No, I'm kidding. It's not. It's 18 Prius. Surprised no one's even asked for a Prius. And please don't go on Monday night and suggest a Prius. Actually, no, you can suggest a Prius. That's fine. I keep saying I'm gonna buy a Prius. I'm gonna remove the motor and the 3 of the back seats and the passenger seat, and I'm going to install a big diesel motor in the car with stacks coming out of the center of it. Either that or a Tesla, but Teslas are too expensive to screw around with that. Yes, that's it. That's it, Tim. Brown is heavily orange. All right, so that's good. What's happening here too is by default, I'm kind of covering some of the leaves here, which I'm going to fix in a second. But I want to get, like I said, I want to get the value here first. I don't necessarily mind that this is a lot darker than the reference photo. It pulls it more forward. There's more atmospheric perspective than I have in the reference photo, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Anything else? Yeah, I'm going to hit this tree line a little bit because I think it's a little bit too in your face. So again, this is a great color to kind of knock down that intensity. And then I'm going to take care of that blue shift too in a second once I get that done. All right, we're good there. Yeah, all right, let's fix this now. So any leftover blue shift I'm going to take care of right now. Now the blue shift will normally happen around the outside edge where the white is the thinnest, where the white is the, the most transparent really. There's not enough of it on there. Again, the closer I get to opacity, the closer it gets to that orange that was in the cup of the airbrush. So you'll see this really frequently with a newer airbrush artist, especially a portrait artist, and Tim can attest to this. If you have your portrait going on and maybe you made a spot too dark, or you want to add a highlight in a lighter area, you grab your white and you start spraying that on skin tone. it immediately turns blue, but it's not just blue. It'll be kind of white in the center of where you worked, but the outside halo will be like blue, like it was real blue. So that's usually where it happens. So I have red oxide mixed up, and it's really thin. It's just got a bunch of reducer in it. I'm going to say it's just reducer. I should have probably put 40/50 in this, but it's not the way that I used to do it. I used to just reduce it because 40/50 wasn't a thing back then. So I'm trying to remember if that bottle is the same or not. 70 Charger is an excellent guess, but that is not it. Cody Adams is here. Cody, what's up, buddy? Cody, what we're doing is this is one of the wheels or one of the cutouts from one of the 543s from this, or for Monday coming up. And I'm having some fun with everyone. If you can guess what year, make, and model this car comes from, I will send you your choice of 543s. Not this week's, because that's not how it works. But you can pick any 543 on the site. So again, I like to give the winner a chance at the 5. So, I mean, it'd be nice if someone does win today, that they take that painting, but that, you know, which could happen if the person who wins Monday doesn't choose that one. But that's what we got. All right, so just a straight red oxide, just reduced like crazy. So what I can do now is I can go over what I just did really lightly. And what that does is I'm kind of concentrating on the outside edge of this, wherever the blue shift is really the strongest. And because this is super transparent, and there is no white in it, obviously, this will push that blue shift away. It'll just kind of make it disappear. It'll just cancel out any of that blue shift. So like down in here where this is really kind of misty right now because the blue shift is making it look like fog, I can just go over this with the red oxide. And don't let it fool you. I've said it before. Red oxide sounds like it's a red color. It's not. It's rusty orange. It's really orange. Like it should be orange oxide, but it isn't. So I just go over this until it just kind of pushes it back to where it should. And then we're good. Happy, happy. 72 Impala is an excellent guess. That is not it. Another great car. Yeah, I think when my daughter has all the money, she's gonna end up getting a late 60s Impala, or yeah, I think she wants an Impala still. That was her car. That will be a lot of fun. Okay, so clean that out. That's good. I'm going to leave that there for now. Honey Rivera, Honey's on. Hello, Honey. Blue shift is scary with portraits. It's the worst with portraits. That's why I mentioned Tim, because Tim can attest to, you know, how crazy that blue shift happens on skin tone. Honey, we're having a contest. Not really a contest. We're having some fun. I'll show you again. So, Honey, this is one of the cutouts from the 543s that are coming up for Monday. It's a car. And we're taking guesses on what the year, make, and model of this car is. If someone gets this today, if someone guesses the correct car, I will give them a 543. You can go online and pick one out and I'll send it to you. So the hints I've given is it's the front wheel from this car, and I have painted this car before. So those are your hints. That's all you get. Michael, so you're on, Michael, too. Michael is a member here on What Could Go Wrong. Michael is part of the What Could Go Wrong Club, and you notice Michael's name is in a cool color, and he's got the little logo next to his name. So that is what we got going on with that. There's going to be more perks with being a member as I kind of pull together things. I'm thinking about doing a separate live stream just for the members, and then your little icon next to your name changes by the length that you're a member. So it starts off with the blue field with the SL in orange, and then when you are here for 6 months, oh, Honey, you're the best. And then when you when you get to 6 months, it'll switch to the orange field with blue letters. And then when you reach a year, it'll jump back to the blue field, but you'll have a orange star behind the letters. So that is the way that goes. So Honey and Michael are also Patreon members, which is amazing. And Patreon members get their own Open Studio video every week. They get a 10% discount on everything in the shop. So that includes paintings. And that's it. All right, so that's good. I'm going to leave that there. That feels really good. So what I'm going to do here, where that kind of fuzzed out a little bit, turn on, yeah, palette cam's on. Good. I'm just going to reinstall essentially the, how good is this? I'm going to reinstall the leaves that kind of got washed out. So I'm going to grab some of this yellow and orange and come up with a, oh, you guessed it, a yellow-orange, just to kind of throw those back in. Don't want to get it on the tree, though. Oh, Tim, thank you. You're all what could go wrong now. All right, so that gets rid of that. So I want to make sure that I don't get it on this tree. So I'm just going to use just a piece of paper to kind of act as like a stencil on that tree, so I can kind of get this right up against the tree. So it doesn't look like, you know, I'm just avoiding the tree. There we go. All right. I can live with that. That's good. I know, yeah. I'm going to I've been looking online, and usually membership happens with bigger channels, and they often, what YouTube does is it kind of throttles down the perks that you can have as you begin, and then as you build up more members, they give you the access to more perks. So there are some really fun ones too, a lot of icons. You'll notice now you can use icons too. There's a Createx bottle, a Winsor & Newton brush, a razor blade. And those emojis are only for members as well, so that's fun too. So I'll get more access to emojis as we go too. I'll be able to, and I get to make them, so that's a lot of fun too. Late lunch, awesome, Michael, I love it. All right, so now we're at the point where I'm going to start throwing in the darker orange leaves that are going to pop up front, like this area. This is what we're shooting for right here. There are two layers of this. There's this orange layer, the medium orange layer, and then there's these darker leaves. And it's atmospheric perspective, and that including the glow as well. So the closer the object is to you, essentially the darker it's going to be in this image. Now there isn't a whole lot of that going on. So for instance, this light orange to this medium orange to this darker orange is pretty close. But again, just having that gives it that sense of depth from there. There you go. Tim's got all the paint. All of the paint. All right. So I'm going to start with that orange. And what I need to do is I need to put out a bunch of this on the palette, because I'm going to be using this a lot and I want to make sure I have it. So I'm just going to put it in the yellow field over here, because I've already used this area of the palette a lot, and I'm afraid I'm going to rip through the parchment by beating that area up. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to that because we want it opaque, and I need this to shift towards the yellow, so I'm going to drop some yellow in that too. And that's golden yellow, by the way. So after having Gerald on last Monday, I was working on one of the 543s, which will make more sense when I show it to you Monday. But I was thinking about doing the whole thing with the illustration colors, because I do have a bunch of the illustration colors, and I haven't used them in a while, and I just wanted to try them out and see, you know, I always love to know what I'm missing. So the people who use the illustration line love the illustration line. Obviously, you know, if you watch Drew Blair, that's his line. But Gerald uses illustration all the time, and Scott uses illustration all the time. So nice, yes, Astral, that's it. Astral, thank you for jumping on that the Harley painting feed. That was great. You were the one who suggested that the glove was the thing that was screwing all that up. Yes, so detail orange. That is not detail orange. The orange that I use is opaque. So that's the Wicked Pyrrole orange. So I don't, the Wicked Orange is, here it is right here. This is just straight up Wicked Orange. This is very, very transparent. So I'm glad that actually that they have an opaque orange now, because that was a little too transparent for me. All right, so this looks a little bit yellow, but we're gonna try it out. It is too yellow. That's all right though. I'll use what's in the brush for a second here just to kind of start breaking up these branches that I put in. And again, anything you missed between Monday and now, you can just go back to, if you go to the, it's in my playlist, or it's in the Open Studio playlist. However, it's also, you know, I posted it, I think, Tuesday. So you can jump back and see what, you know, how I got from Monday to here. So I'm just going to use this up a little bit since it's in the brush. Now, interestingly, the yellow generally shifts to green, and that's what happens with the instead of a blue shift with yellow, you have a green shift. So as I'm putting this on top, you know, in the various areas here, the thinnest areas of this are going to turn green. Now I'm going to fix that too, and you know, if you're used to that blue shift, the way that you shift, obviously, the colors around is by putting in its complementary color. So because this is shifting green, if I use a really warm, like a reddish color, it'll get rid of that green the same way the blue shift disappears. And I got some leaves on this too. Break that up. So actually, this is a nice mistake because I needed the yellow anyway to get kind of the base for these leaves in a little bit. Oh, the emoji. I think it is. No, I bet it's red. I bet you anything it's red, because that's what, if I had to guess what I would have done, that's what I would have done. But I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. All right, that's good. So I've got this yellow in here now. You guys are missing the bottom corner of this, but you guys get most of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the yellow down in here too. Get that ready, because we got to put a lot of orange down in here. But there's a, you know, there's a darker base than what's on there. Again, I talked about this on Monday night. To get these leaves look like they're laying down, instead of just hitting this straight like this, I'm laying the brush down so that these are more of a horizontal type stroke here. And again, this is like the underpainting, so I don't have to be super careful with this. It doesn't have to be like outrageously, awesomely perfect. The last layers of the orange and the shadows of those leaves that are in here will be done with a much smaller brush anyway. This is just designed to get something on there. And I'm feeling like I'm missing the edge here, so I'm gonna add a bunch of paint on the edge so I don't get a weird reversed vignette, so to speak. Actually, that worked out really good. For a mistake, that was a good mistake. Not mixing that dark enough. So here's another good way to do it. So say, like here, I got to get those leaves on here, but they got to be bright against this these trees. So what I can do is I can kind of cheat. So I can go to the white, just grab some white, and use that white as like a primer. Now obviously they're not going to stay this color, but this, now obviously the white covers really, really well. Like that. So that, the yellow mix, yellow is not, even though that has orange, opaque orange in it, it doesn't want to cover the right way. I mean, it's still transparent. So yeah, it looks good. So we'll let those dry. So I can't do anything with those till they dry. But I bet you can guess where this is going. Once those are dry, once I take the yellow again and just go over those white, they'll be brilliant yellow now. So it's a quick way to do it. Enzo, have a good one, buddy. Absolutely, Enzo. You're the best. Thank you. We airbrush. No, honey, this has been a little bit of both. So the glow and all that and the background and stuff like that, that was a lot of airbrush to get that. We just, right before you got in, we kind of bumped up that glow that's on here, which looking at it, I need to make it a little bit more orange too. So yeah, so the airbrush is definitely a part of it. So let's grab straight up orange and see what that does. So I'm going to grab just a drop of orange and I'm going to just reduce it. Or as Tim says, I'm going to 40-11 it. I love that. Last night he had said, he goes, I'm going to 40-11 it, and you know what that means. And I did know what that means. It was good. All right, so there's just some opaque orange kind of reduced out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on this tree because I really want to get this to more of a orangey feel than what it was. And just kind of lean back, make sure I'm heading in the right direction. Hit this other side a little bit. Yeah, I'm good with that. And I got the orange in the cup, so maybe I want to get you guys the whole thing. But I can't get this camera back any farther, so I have the great macro lens on right now. There we go. Nope. I was pushing up on the bar. Sorry. There we go. There you go. I get most of it now. Okay. So I've got this in the cup, so I don't have to waste it. I'm just going to kind of vignette the bottom of this. Essentially run the rest of this orange out on the bottom. Because we're not wasting paint, even if it is only a drop. Michael, I do like that idea, and I knew exactly what you were talking about. There's two metal recycling places that are fairly close to me, and we don't have any. Well, actually, I shouldn't say junkyards. There are some junkyards around too, but these places would be a good place to try to find exactly that. But yeah, I mean, that's what I need. I need a large, flat, not thick, but I need a large, strong magnet that can go behind these ampersand panels so that the magnets will go through them or work through them. All right, I'm happy with that. That's good. I think I can. How are these doing? They're dry. They're dry enough. So now what I can do is just grab, those are yellow, right? Yeah, those are really yellow. So let me put out from golden yellow. Golden yellow also is extremely transparent. All my templates are falling everywhere. I gotta fix that thing too. All right, so golden yellow. And now what I can do is with the straight golden yellow, which might be too yellow. Let me look. Yeah, it needs a little bit of orange in it. So I'll grab some of this orange here. So if I go over what I just did, now remember, the yellow is real transparent. So if I don't exactly hit the white dot that I put on before, is that black in it? That would be a problem. If I don't hit exactly that white that I put on there, the transparency of the yellow won't really affect the things that are around it. Make sure this is pretty dry. Lovely. So now those leaves are much more brilliant than they would have been if I even tried to mix the yellow with the white. There we go. That works. That's stunning. I'm happy. What else we got? I got myself a galvanized steel magnetic panel to cover my engineering board. Cost 30 bucks. 30 pounds, sorry. But I'll be able to anchor my template cutouts like the Visionary. Yeah, that's perfect, Astral. Yeah, I was lucky. Oh, Brad, thank you. Welcome to the club. Astral, I was able to find from a sign supplier, I was able to, for my big bench, I have a 3 foot by 5 foot drafting table. I was able to find a 4x8 sheet of powder coated steel, which was amazing. So I cut it down and to the size of the bench, and that's what's on my other bench. So yeah, that works. And then of course the Visionaire is the panel is steel anyway. All right, that's good. So we're ready to move on now. Do I want to use this brush or do I want to use a different brush? I want to use a different brush to kind of get a different feel for these. So what I'm going to do is I need orange. I need an orangey orange. So this is the orange I started with originally today. So we're just going to add a bunch of opaque orange to that and see what we come out with. Oh, I don't know, Brad. Yeah, I don't know if it'll let you join twice. Ah, Cody Adams is still guessing. That's awesome. Cody, that is a great guess. That is not it. I should probably mention it again for the new people who are just jumping on. So this right here is one of the cutouts from the 543s that I'm working on for Monday. And obviously it's a car. If you can guess the make, year, and model of this car before the feed is over today, you will win a 543. You can go on the site and pick one and I will mail it to you. So, and the only hints are this is the front wheel. The other hint is that I have painted this vehicle before, this car. It is a car. I won't do that to you. It's not a truck. Shelby Cobra. Yeah, that's not it, but that's a good one too. All right, what am I doing? Picking a new brush for this. So we'll use this pour acrylic brush. This brush is beat. This brush was a flat originally. I think this is one of my brother's. My brother also paints, and just by default somehow, you know, our paintbrushes got mixed up when we were living together as kids. 68 Corvette is not it, but that's a good one. 69 Corvette is also a good guess, but that is not it either. All right, so I'm going to mix up this orange, see what this looks like. Here's the beauty part about this. None of these colors are wrong. You know what I mean? It's like I could just keep messing with this till I end up getting what I really want. I think I need this to be a little bit darker. Yep, I'm going to have to spike this. So it is also not opaque enough. So I'm going to add just a touch of white to it, so a couple drops of white, 3 drops of white, and to really get it, to really cancel the brightness of that orange, I'm going to add red oxide. And I might even add a little bit of burnt umber, but we'll see. Come on, boy. There we go. One, we'll try one, see what it does. Yeah, I'm going to have to add another one. I mean, that worked. That canceled out the white. That's about a little bit, that's close to the same value, but I need it more orange. So let's add a little bit of burnt umber. 1 burnt umber. And 2 more oxides. Once I get the, yeah, I was going to hold up on 1, but we'll see what happens. Once I get this color, I probably should have mixed this in a cup. It probably would have been more efficient because I have too much of it, but it's going to work out. So this might be too dark. This might be the last one. We'll try this in a couple spots and see what we got, especially up here. Yeah, this is great for the last one, but I'll use some of this too. Yeah, this works. This brush is probably too big for this too, but I'll mess around with it and see what we got. Yeah, let's switch to another brush for this color. Okay. What did I grab here? 1. This is a lovely color. It's just, I don't know if it's, um, no, actually, you know what? Because it is too dark, but because it's transparent, it's still got a lot of transparency to it. See how, like, when I'm working in here, see how, like, lighter orange it is, but up here where it's, like, more opaque, it's a lot darker. So I think I'm going to use this. I'm going to see what I can get out of this. Yeah, I like it. So again, we talked about this a little bit on the, well, I talked about this Tuesday when I was kind of doing the video for this, and also a little bit on Monday. So again, you know, as the leaves get closer in the image, they get more refined, they get more detail to it, make it sharper. So again, that little subtle change in how they're painted will give the painting it will give it its depth, even though there's not much going on here. It's just trees and leaves, you know. Thanks, honey. 65 GT. That is not it, but that's a great guess too. A kit car. Again, good guess. That is not a Dodge Charger. It is not a Dodge Charger. I have done all of those except, have I done a kit car? It depends on what your definition of a kit car is. So I've done some cars that are basically, you know, hand-built type of deal, but I don't know if they're actually kit cars. Like the Morgan. The Morgan is not really a kit car, but it's also not, well, it's also not really a car. It's more considered, well, in Massachusetts anyway, it's considered a motorcycle, but because of the size of the motor and the way that it kind of does its thing. But where Bear Air was in Easton, the guy who owned the building that Bear Air was in, he's a great guy, rode motorcycles. He had a kit Cobra, which was a blast. They would take it out we were in an industrial park, so he would take that car out in the industrial park and just like absolutely rip. It was a blast. So he's a smart guy. He wasn't a dumb guy at all. He actually tragically lost his life in a motorcycle accident that wasn't his fault. But anyway, so he would take the car out, and there also in that industrial park was International Ferrari Service, which was one of the few authorized Ferrari repair places in Massachusetts. So they also hooked him up with classes, so on how to drive a car that's like, you know, outrageously overpowered for its size, which this thing absolutely was. Those guys were great. So it was two brothers that owned the building, and they were always doing crazy stuff in the industrial park. They owned a company that made like highly specific machined parts for like the aviation industry and things like that. I mean, the stuff they made was insane, and they just needed to blow off steam. So one of the things they did was they built this couch that had a motor in it, and they would drive the couch around the industrial park. They would also, one of their great things, they would take one of their cars and put it out front, and they had this, you know, full-size mannequin, female mannequin, and they would dress it very provocatively and kind of position it in the front with the hood open as if this girl had broken down, and she's, you know, she's wearing fishnet stockings and a mini skirt, and they would just sit in their office and laugh at people stopping to help this pretty girl out, and then they realized that it wasn't a pretty girl, it was a mannequin. So that's what kind of guys these guys were. They were the most amazing guys to hang out with. What else? Feed freezing up? Let me look. Cache is, yeah, it is filling up. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna fix this real quick. I might lose you guys for a second, but we'll be back. Hold on. Yeah, if 1 second here. That's good. That looks good. Just checking my well, let me see what I got here. Okay. See if that works. That should be better, and I'll keep an eye on it. What happens is if the upload gets, I have it set for a pretty high, like a pretty detailed feed as far as the resolution goes. So sometimes the upload gets jammed up, and when it does, then you guys freeze. So if that happens, what I can do is I can lower basically lower the quality of the feed for a few minutes until it catches up, and then bring you guys back. So that should be okay. I'll keep an eye on it now. But thank you for letting me know that, because that doesn't pop up on my side. All right, this color is actually working again by default, by just pure luck, I guess. You know, it's funny with stuff like this where when I'm trying to figure it out, I just kind of roll with it, and you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But what's nice about something like this is, for the most part, I mean, you'd have to be really far off to have it not, you know, to have it not be able to be used somewhere in the painting. So now down in here, this is a great color for finishing up the details around the horizon here, or this, you know, this area where it goes underneath the trees. So as you get down to the bottom of the leaves here, where the trees kind of tuck under, by adding this orange here, it gives it that feeling that it folds in underneath the leaves. So there we go. Raffin, what's up? I will let you know as well. We're running a kind of a fun contest. This is one of my cutouts from Monday, for the Monday feed coming up. So I'm painting this car right now for Monday night. And if you can tell me what year, make, and model this car is by this wheel, and it is a front wheel, I will give you a 543. So you'll get a free original painting. And the only hints are, it is a car. It is a car I've painted before, and this is the front wheel. So that's what you got. It's super mean of me because, again, this isn't the stock wheel that came on the car. So that's, you know, that's pretty sucktastic for me. But, you know, what fun would it be if it wasn't hard? All right, back to this. So, again, this color is working out really great. It's transparent enough when it needs to be, and it's opaque when it's built up, and it's dark enough, and I'm happy. So again, you know, as I get down to the area here, this is farther away. So up here, I'm like just kind of going at it. But down here, I want to be a little bit more careful and put this texture in basically smaller, because it's farther away. And then again, that little change in the way that I'm putting the leaves in here will give this sense of depth that is subtle, but will really kind of do the job for me. Thanks, Cody. I'm happy. And we'll just kind of introduce this color around the edge here, so that'll give it more of a focal kind of drive around that, around the lightest part here. And if anything went wrong here, you know, with any of the cover-up leaves here, the leaves are in the front, I can always just kind of go over those too. Again, the more colors you have in there, the more complex it is, and then the more it looks the way it should look. So my lovely assistant Lachlan is back from school right now. She has a short break between semesters, so she got home yesterday, which was great. Some of you have gotten comments from her, so because she goes through the whole feed, she will often catch a comment before I do. So I know some of you have gotten responses from her if you asked a question and I missed it. She's an amazing human being. Yay, I love that. That makes me super happy in there. Good. Oh, Bobby. Bobby, I knew that too. That's all right, Bobby. Bobby, how's your dad doing? Hopefully he's doing okay. I saw your update and I didn't realize that he's got a lot going on. So definitely pulling for you. And Bobby, I know you know, but that hospital is a great hospital. I could walk to the hospital from where I used to live in Weymouth. I spent a lot of time at that Mary Lou. There's a great cottage Irish pub up the street from the hospital that they have a lot of beer on tap, like a lot of beer, like different, all kinds of stuff. And they have a thing where you get a card and they put your name on it, and then if you have one of every beer on their tap list, which is enormous, you get a plaque on the wall. I did not even come close before I moved. What's dangerous is I could walk there too. So yeah, I really, really loved Weymouth. I loved it. For those who don't know the Massachusetts area, Weymouth is just north of Plymouth-ish, kind of, sort of. And Weymouth was originally they settled Weymouth, and they got their asses kicked by everything, the weather, just everything. So they ended up kind of merging for a while with Plymouth, most people know Plymouth because of Plymouth Rock and all that. So Weymouth was called Waysagasset originally, which was the native name. Yay, I'm very happy about this. Shelby Mustang, that's a great guess, Cody. That is not it. I know, honey, there have been a lot of them. It's really not a fair contest. And what's going to make it worse is I'm not going to tell you what it is until Monday. So I already apologize for being a total ass, but I figured, what the heck. All right, I'm super, super happy with this. So I've got this whole thing now is really making me happy up here. So now I got to make some ground on the leaves on the ground. So I'm going to use that same color. That worked out really, really good. There's more red in the ground, but we'll deal with that at the end. So for the leaves on the ground, I'm going to use this flat brush, and this is just a really inexpensive Princeton brush. It's what size? Well, it's size 4, but it's a pretty big brush, but it's also flat. So this will give me that horizontal feel on all these leaves right out of the gate. Okay. So just kind of palette this a little bit so I get kind of a really sharp edge on this, and then I can start putting it. Now again, this is more of the same thing. This is more of just like blocking this in, the big passages, the big feel of the ground is this horizontal stuff. And then I'll go back in with the smaller brush to add more, kind of detail and move it around and stuff, and get like the shading underneath some of the leaves and that kind of thing. So this just kind of blocks it in. And again, it establishes that that horizontal feel. So I would do the same kind of thing with water, like the ocean or a lake. The overall pass for the little, whether it's waves or white caps or whatever, the first round before I even start looking at any of the details is some sort of pass that's real horizontal. So that way I get that feel right out of the gate. And then anything else I put on will just add to that, and I don't have to try to catch that feeling up. Stunning! Actually, I'm going to bring the leaves up right to the edge here to break that up a little bit. So I don't want this distant area right here to be across the whole thing. I just want to kind of break that up. And then I'll just kind of dab in this color a little bit to help break things up so it's not so, I like it. Steve, you can walk there and float. Michael, that's exactly what that was. I mean, the good news is, too, the hospital was in between that pub and where I lived. So if things went really bad, I could just stop at the hospital. Yes, yeah, all the brushes have camo pattern on them, that's for sure. 66 Camaro, I love that car, Cody. That is not it, though. That was the big three, that I wanted when I was a kid. My uncle had a 71 Mustang before I got my license, and I was in love with that car. It was a white 71 Mustang. So I knew I wanted something in that general area, so I was looking for late 60s Camaro, Firebird, or Mustang. I ended up finding a Mustang, but yeah, the Camaro was definitely on the list. It's funny, the Mustang was last on the list. If I could pick, if I could find any of them, I was looking for a Firebird first. I wanted a Firebird really, really badly. And then a Camaro, and then the Mustang. But I found the Mustang, and it was a good deal, and that's how it went. So, all right, I think I'm going to start pulling some red into this, I think. I'm going to start this in the ground, I think, the red, because I really like the way this is going. This needs some red up here, but it doesn't need a lot of red, and I don't want to start up there and put too much in. But the ground needs a bunch of red, so we're going to do that. Yes, Mustang all day, every day. I did love my car. I did love that car. It was like you guys, I've talked about it a lot. That car was a total piece of poop, and a 16-year-old had no right owning it. It should have gone to someone who could actually. The guy who owned it was a jackass and did a bunch of stuff to it that he shouldn't have. That car really needed to go to someone to restore it. I was not that person. I drove it. Through high school and loved it, but it needed a lot of work. I did end up selling it when I went to school, though, college. I'm glad I did too. Like, it's one of those things that, sometimes you regret. You always think about the cars that you lost or gave away or sold or whatever. I could not have held on to that car for long enough because I sold it when I was in college because I was driving to school, which was 50 miles away. The car would not have made it. So I knew I had to get rid of it. And I also was a kid and, I didn't have storage for it. So it just needed to go. I'm glad it did. I hope it, I don't know the guy who bought it. I just sold it to some guy, but I hope he did a lot with it. All right. So you saw what it was. It was just the orange mixed up with a little bit of pyro red. And now I can start to put it in. Now I want to get away from this brush though. I'm using this brush because it's in my hand, but I don't want to do that. Switch to another brush because I want to start to get a little bit more refinement in, especially with this. So this is just a watercolor, just a round watercolor brush. And again, it's got a lot, this brush is a number 1. So it's got a real nice, belly on it, so it can hold the paint and keep it wet. So this will allow me to get the same kind of thing. I'm coming at this at kind of an angle this way, so I keep those paint strokes roughly horizontal. This brush puts them on really smaller, so it's not, it's not like, crazy horizontal like the flat brush, but it does give me that, that kind of more horizontal feel than anything. 63 Stingray is a great guess too. Lewis Marshall, what's up? I'm going to call you Lewis. I'm going to call you Marshall every time. Lewis is absolutely killing it. His black and white portraits are awesome. Yeah, honey, that's a great guess. That is not it though. 63 Stingray. All right. So now that I've got, that's all the red I need, I think. Yeah. So now I'm going to get that red up above. So I'm going to use the same brush again. This is it's a smaller brush. So this is by default, it's going to slow me down. Where if I had a big brush, I'd be like blasting this red in everywhere. And then the worst thing that could happen with this is one color everywhere and then another color everywhere because nothing will flatten it out faster than that if you have the same pattern, everywhere. So I'm going to kind of be a little bit more specific with this and kind of keep this in certain areas, maybe even like, kind of blob areas, like just general, so that I don't have this red everywhere, especially in this area here. I don't want to go anywhere near that. Only one, the year of the split window. Yes. Can you imagine I mean, just to hit on one of the most iconic cars and only make it for 1 year. Such a car, such a great car. So again, over here, just the same kind of thing, just kind of dropping in a few spots. Definitely want to, now if you saw on Monday night, this dark color here, and it's over here a little bit too. This dark color is a moss green, which is, you know, I love that color. I want to be careful not to hit the moss green directly with the red. If it happens, you know, in a few spots, it's not that bad. If I go over, like at this area here, if I just go over this with red, obviously the red is going to cancel out the green, and what I'm going to be left with is kind of a grayish color. And that's not what I want. I want to keep this vibrant. So that green is great, and I want to preserve it. So I just want to avoid the red if I can. Brad, thank you. Thank you so much, Brad. If you are a Patreon member, the open studio that you guys have is actually a painting of Brad's car that I had done from a little while ago. And it worked out really great. Before I had, you know, any of this stuff going on, the, you know, the memberships or anything, or even the videos, the open studios weren't even a thing. I had recorded all of Brad's painting, I just like the open studio, but I didn't have anything to do with it. I was going to offer it as a download, but it's gigantic because it's, you know, it's whatever it is. I don't even know how many episodes it is. So it just kind of sat on the back burner for a long time. I didn't know what to do with it. And then flash forward to now, I have the open studio thing, and that's working out really great. And I'm like, well, I can make an open studio out of it. And then we were talking about doing memberships through Patreon and through YouTube, and it was the perfect bonus. No one's seen it, so it becomes a something special just for the Patreon members. I'm also working on setting up a Discord channel. If you use Discord, you'll know all about that. So Discord is like a vocal / forum type thing. Gamers use it a lot, and but what a lot of people are using it for is for communities. So I'm thinking about doing a Patreon channel just for either probably be for both. So it'll probably, if you're a member here on YouTube or if you're a member on Patreon, you'll have access in both spots. So what we'll hopefully do is do some special live feeds, which will be nice because it'll be vocal. So you guys, it's not going to be typing as much as you guys we're all just sitting around talking. So that'll be good. The other thing I want to get done on the Patreon side is maybe a Patreon live, which will be good. I'm happy with that. Okay, so that's good. So now I'm starting to get a feel for what I got to do to adjust it. So it's really like we're coming down to the end, which is really, really good. So now what I can start doing is just kind of take a step back. I'm going to switch you guys to the overhead so you guys can take a look from farther away. So there's your overhead. So now I can start to look at this thing and try to figure out like what it needs. So the farther on I get in a painting, the more you get to the extremes, either darks or lights. And that's kind of where we're rolling up on now. So this field right here where all the leaves are lying on the ground, it's great. It has a good feel to it, but I need to pop some darks in here to kind of break this up a little bit. This area up here I like too, but I want to add a little bit more darks in here, and what that'll do is it'll be a nice contrast to the brightness of what's going on there. I also want to break up this branch a little bit too. I'm not overly thrilled with that. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. So we're in good shape. 65 Riviera Kriz. That is not it, but that is one of my... I would love to find a 65 Riviera. I mean, you guys who have been around for a while know that that was my dad's car. So I would love to find a 65 Riviera. There's a mutual friend of ours. Actually, I just met him through a friend. You guys know him, Mike Stevenson. He's always on the feed. So a friend of his lives nearby, has a 65 Riviera, but it's a more of a project car. He has the body of a 65, and I think it's on a different frame. So and he's working on that, and but I heard that he is almost done working on it, as far as, maybe he doesn't want to finish it. I don't have the mechanical capability to pick up where he left off, so unfortunately that's not a candidate for me. But yeah, I would love to find just a 65 Riv. That would be amazing. My uncles, I know one of them had a 73, which was a great car too. I remember specifically as a child being scared to death because we were in the back seat and he decided to take us for a ride. And yeah, that was fun. I thought I was going to die. But also I had quite a good time. All right, so what I did was I just grabbed this red oxide. Oh, you can't see it because I turned it off. Down here, there's red oxide and burnt umber kind of mix. I just grabbed some of that. That was a good place to start for this. The red oxide obviously has a lot of orange in it, so that will kind of blend in with all this. But the burnt umber has a lot of, a dark value to it. So that'll allow me to really kind of start to poke in some of these darker areas. And anywhere like there are some other branches that I could throw in. I've got the main branches here that I put in on Tuesday. But if there's some other ones that are popping through, this is a good place to do that. What else we got? Oh, Astel, yeah, thanks. That's the goal, man. That's exactly the goal. The goal is good painting first, then size. That's what we want. So again, this is a #1 watercolor brush, which works out well for this because I can get anything from like a pinpoint to kind of push this soft brush in, and it'll give me like a broader area. So this brush is extremely versatile for this. Again, if I want to throw in a few extra branches, it's a good time to do that with this. I don't know that I don't know that I dislike these two branches here. Gary Shees, what's up, buddy? Yeah, so a little bit, wherever this needs to be kind of punched in. And what happens is with this dark will create, if it's up front up here, it'll pop forward. It's a neat thing. If it's up here, it'll pop forward. If I use it sparingly down in here, and I don't want to use it too much, but if I use it sparingly down in here, this will create these deep holes in this that will allow this to even look farther away. So it's kind of nice. And again, I want to kind of mix this up so it's not everywhere, but just kind of comes in. There's actually, this area up here is really dark. I'm going to kind of dump this right down. I have the body of a 65 in a different frame. Astel, that's awesome. That's great. All right, so the details in the ground down here. So this is fun because this stuff is, the closer it gets to the bottom, the closer, or the, yeah, closer it gets to the bottom, the closer it gets to us as the viewer. So as I get down to the bottom here, I can really like pick out some specific details and even kind of add shading underneath some of these little blobs to kind of pull them out. And that will give me that feeling that, those leaves are like really on the ground here. Mr. Leahy, he's been better eyes than most of us able to do all the micro detailing paintings he does. Big props. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I am paying for it now, though. Like at the end of the day, my eyes are like, Marge came down the other day and it was a long day because I'm trying to get things done before the weekend because we got a lot going on. And Marge came down, looked at me, goes, "Were you crying?" And I'm like, "No." So my eyes are all red. And if I do like really, really small stuff, and if I spend a lot of time on my phone, like if I have stuff going on and I'm always checking my phone, my eyes by the end of the day are so fatigued. It's concerning. It's concerning to the point where I'm glad I got a lot of the micro stuff done already, because if I start to back off from some of the really super small stuff now, at least I've done a lot of it. Because yeah, oof. It is tiring. My eyes won't let me do that. Yeah, it's funny. It's my eyes are definitely letting me know now. I still, again, I'm super fortunate, and I can't be happy enough that my eyes up close are really, really still good. Like I don't need readers or anything. However, yeah, far away, man. I pay for it at the end of the day. That's for sure. Same color. This is that brown. So I'm just kind of like getting this in whatever spots it probably needs to go in, like the base of the trees, maybe. Feeling there's not enough brown up here either, so we'll do some up there too. What else did I miss? Bionic eye. Just one, just like Steve Austin. All right, so there are some branches that are like on the outside here. So now this again, burnt umber is awesome, but it's also very transparent. Same thing with red oxide, real transparent. So if I want to get these branches in, what I need to do is I need to add a bunch of black to it. Actually, let me go up here. So the opaque black will, just like the white, the opaque black will really help it to stand on top of everything. So just kind of weave them in between everything, you know, just I don't want to, same thing with this stuff too. If you get into doing branches and stuff, you get into it and you start putting branches everywhere, and all of a sudden it looks like a mess. It's so easy to get carried away. So there's a lot of, you know, put something in and then back up and look at it and see where you are. And that really helps me kind of not go too far with it, because it is easy. And then with this, like this dark color, maybe I can throw in a few other little darker details farther away. I think we're pretty much there. Oh, I wanted to darken this area up here. Okay, so this area up here, I got the moss green still out on the palette. That's this blob of green right here. So I'm gonna grab the green and I'm gonna grab that burnt umber black mix that I just had to make this like really kind of dark mossy green. And that's what I'll use here. This is very transparent, but that's perfect. That's just what I want, because this way it allows me to build this darker area up in here slower, so I don't get into trouble. If it was super opaque and I just nailed this with the green, you know, I could easily run into an instance where I just kind of have a bunch of regret, which I don't want. What's nice about this moss green is it gets closer to the yellow. It picks up more of that greenish cast to it. Again, if I go over something that's red, it's going to kind of get muddy, but I've got the brown in it too. So that brown helps to offset that muddiness when I go over the red areas. JC, what's up, buddy? There we go. All right, let's take a look at it from farther away, see where we're at, because I think we're getting close. It gets to the point now where you start to say, okay, if I do more, is it really going to help it, or is it going to screw it up? I think it's going to screw it up. But I do want to do a trick. I do want to do a trick on this. And we'll probably end it with the trick, which will be nice. So I'm going to use the reflection on the water type of trick. So we have this beautiful sun coming through the trees here. And down here, I want to add some of that light reflecting off of those leaves on the ground. So I'm going to jump back to that really bright yellow. And this, I have the smallest brush. I have the 00 here. So I'm going to start with a really bright, a whitish yellow, almost like scrambled egg color. And then I'm going to pick out some highlights that are just underneath the sun down here. This is, again, the farther you go, the more intense the color gets in the painting for me, and the less of that color you actually see. So I got to be careful with this. Again, this is a great thing if it's subtle. If it's in your face, though, it's going to be ridiculous. But I like it. I like that. That's got a little bit too much white in it, so I'm going to play that up a little bit, and I'm going to spray over it. So this is pure white now. So I'm just going to pick up the tiniest highlights maybe on the edges of these leaves that are here so that they're catching the light. Because I'm going to spray over it anyway, I can use straight white. And then I'm going to grab the airbrush. What do I got in here? Nothing. That's fantastic. I'm going to grab a little bit of golden yellow, and I'm going to turn that white into the yellow. So a couple drops of that. I'm just going to go really lightly, and I'm going to leave you guys close. I was going to back you guys up, but you won't really see it. You're not going to see it anyway. It's going to be really subtle. But I just kind of start spraying this thing over, and I'm going over the whole, basically the whole thing. And then I just spray a few passes and then kind of lean back. And spray a few passes and lean back. And if it's, you know, if I go too far and it's too yellow, just use the old Mike LaValle fire trick and just go back in and add some more hot spots. Well, I like it. I like it. And then, like any good painting, when you think, you know, you should add more, that's when you stop. So I'm going to sign this thing. I think I'll sign it in black as I put my big head in the way. Yeah, I'm going to sign it in black. And we'll sign it over here. There we go. Subtle, but good. And there we go. That's what we got. So there's your pumpkin spice fall painting. I'll switch over to this one too so you can see it. So that's how it came out. So this is on the site right now. It's unframed. If it lasts, if you know, if we don't get any takers on it, what's going to happen with this painting is I'm going to frame it, and then I'll end up bringing it down to the source gallery, and we'll hang it up there. So you guys get first shot at it. Well, the way I'm going to frame it, you can, I mean, if someone picks this up, it's a 5x7. It'll just drop into a 5x7 frame. But I'm going to frame it in an open frame. So the frame will probably be like 8x10, like this. And then I'll put a liner on the back so it has a little background on it. That's how I would do it. So that's it though. Here you go. We did it. 3 episodes. Not like, if you guys are following the Open Studio, not like the Harley painting, which is going on episode, I think I've recorded 2 more. So we're on episode 62. This is probably going to be 70 episodes altogether, which is crazy. So we're working on the motor right now down there. That's where that is. But that's where this one is. 2 totally different animals. I love it. So that's what I got. JC just started. Thanks, Gary. I'm happy. And I also, I'll switch over to this one now. I also, I think I mentioned it on the Monday Night Feed. I was down in Lisbon at the gallery over the weekend, and I have a frame for the Harley painting that I ordered originally, but I think because that's become such an epic painting, that needs a different frame. So I'm going to bring it down to the Source Gallery because they also do framing. And we're going to pick out a wider frame for it. So it's still going to be open, but I think I'll have like a maybe 3/4 inch border on the inside and then the frame. But I think a frame is going to be something more antique and chunky. So we got to look at that, see what frame is going to look best with that. But that painting, because there's going to be, close to 40 hours into that, that's going to be, that painting is going to be another one of those, kind of big deal paintings. So, so it needs a frame that matches that. Not that the frames that I got for the others aren't good, they're just much more subdued, and I don't want subdued with that. So we got through the whole feed. No one guessed the correct make, year, and model. You did good though. You did good. I will tell you all, you were, some of you had the right year, so you were all in the right ballpark. Most of the guesses were plus and minus 5 years, so you did really, really good on that. But yeah, you can find out Monday what it is. Sorry. I hate that. I hate spoilers. I hate cliffhanging things, but I'm doing it. So anyway, thank you all for jumping in. Thank you to all my new members. You guys are the best. What else is going on? That's it. That's it. I will see you guys on Monday. I'll have 5 new paintings for you. I'm not entirely sure what we'll be doing, so I'll be getting ready to head to Massachusetts, so it might be something very casual. I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. So Monday. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Be safe, be careful, be good to one another. And yeah, thanks a lot. I will catch you guys next time.